Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Evangel. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've been in practice for 34 years. I'm also the host of the Super Mike Show. But it is not my show, it's your show. You know why? Because we've designed this show to be a survival guide for life. Why do we need a survival guide? Very simple. There's a lot of misinformation out there. People are saying the opposite thing. One expert says one thing, one expert says another. Who should you believe? What should you believe? Is a high-fat diet good for you, or is a low-fat diet good for you? Experts on both sides of the fence say the opposite thing. So what we're going to do is cut through the misinformation and bring the truth to you. When that occurs, you can take that truth and share it with others. When you do that, you will become their holistic hero. With that in mind, let's talk about today's topic. Supplements. It's very difficult to tell when you look at a bottle of supplements if it's a good supplement or not. You can't tell by the attractiveness of the label. We can't look inside with some sort of superhero x-ray eyes to see what's in the pill. You have to trust your source. Just like when you go to the supermarket and you buy an organic piece of produce, you have to really say, well, is it really organic? You have to trust your source. All the time, everybody's not out for your best interests, but we are. With that in mind, we'll be back after this commercial break, and we'll meet Seth Kalin, who's a representative of a great company called Standard Process. They've been in business for 90 years. Last time I checked, that's almost a century. We'll be right back after these announcements from our sponsors. Hi, and we're back. Today we're with Seth Kalin, who's a representative for Standard Process. He's also worked with thousands of healthcare professionals over the last 10 years. Seth, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Mike. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Now tell us a little bit more about your background, because I know you have quite a resume.
In 2010, I got certified as a nutritional therapy practitioner. I also became board certified in holistic nutrition. And instead of getting in practice, I've really focused my efforts on working with chiropractic physicians like yourself and other healthcare professionals to ensure that they can get the best results possible with their patients.
Now I know the way I met you was through Standard Process and talking on the phone, and we got involved talking about a lot of other things. I was very impressed by what you told me, and that's why you're on the show today.
Same here. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Now, Standard Process is a very unique company because they're family owned and operated. They've been in existence for 90 years. So tell us about the first 90 years of Standard Process.
Yeah, there's not many companies around these days that have been around for 90 years and still family owned. But founded in 1929 with Dr. Royal Lee, he was a genius and engineer that really created the company out of his love for his mom and created the first multivitamin product that's ever been available. So take that concept with healing his mom with had all kinds of health challenges. Fast forward to today, still family owned with Charlie Dubois as the president. Really his focus and passion is in changing lives. And that's what we're really all about.
Well, that's exactly what we're all about here too. And that's why you're here. Now, one thing that really impressed me, and I saw a video that you had sent me, which I was laughing when I saw it because it reminds me of the old poster. It has the farmer there with his wife. It says, eat organic, as our grandparents called it food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Standard Process was doing organic farming before it was called organic farming.
Correct, ever since we've been founded. And we're next level organic. So what a lot of people don't understand is we could still be organic and depleting our soils,
right.
But regenerative farming actually adds minerals and nutrients to the soil to ensure we have increased nutrient content and increased biodiversity to maximize the nutrient content, phytochemical compounds that are in our supplements.
One thing that I've researched a lot in recent years is the way that our soil is being depleted from nutrients. And one thing that I read a number of years ago, that you have to eat 20 heads of romaine lettuce to get the same selenium you did in one head of lettuce from 100 years ago. I'm not sure where they came up with that, but it's a good example, though, of what we're doing today, because even if you don't have pesticides, it doesn't necessarily mean that the food is of good nutritional value. It just means there's no pesticides. And another thing that I found out, which is very interesting, that when you don't use pesticides, the plant has to rely on its own defense mechanisms to protect itself, and that involves producing a lot more of its own antioxidants.
Correct. Yeah, and we go through, it's really agricultural science. Standard Process is really a leader in organic farming, and we have data now showing that we're increasing nutrient content of our soil. We're actually also sequestering carbon out of the atmosphere. So not only are we creating products that are healthier and bridging that nutritional gap for patients across the U.S., we're also helping the environment by taking carbon out of the atmosphere.
That's excellent. As we all know, there's more carbon going in the atmosphere than there should be. I just keep on going on the list. The other thing that really impressed me with Standard Process is the way that they take the seed to supplement, which is really something we discussed that I don't know of any other company that's doing that. And the plant is within a mile of the fields.
Correct. Yeah.
So you can't really get that anywhere else, because talk about freshness, because I've got a patient that brings me eggs every Tuesday. So sometimes the eggs are warm because it's right. It's almost like a quarterback. The chicken hikes the egg and brings it right to my office. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So that's where a lot of the investment in our expansion model is to ensure the highest quality. Where we harvest the crops, we are actually producing them many times on the same day. We're definitely juicing and drying them on the same day, actually yards away from the farm. So where we take that raw material is less than a mile away to actually put it into tablet form for patients.
And you can't get any better than that.
Correct. Yeah. So we invest a lot into agricultural science to ensure that our farms are producing at the highest yield, but also using cover crops to ensure that we continue to add in that nutritional profile into the soil naturally. And we have scientists that go above and beyond to ensure that we have the right plant profile, the phytochemical profile, and we know what biologically active compounds are going to be associated with what health systems that patients have, whether it be cardiovascular system, digestive system, and we go into helping practitioners have advanced clinical insights of how to apply those products so that they can get the best results possible, and they can always be, ensure that we have the best phytochemical profile that is available.
That's extremely impressive. There's a lot of more questions we have, but we will get to those questions after this break. And we're back. Seth, the next question I'd like to ask you, which is something that I know is a big problem with the supplement industry. I know you guys have this wired, so I won't put you on the spot and ask you something that you're not going to already know. But the problem is when you take a supplement and it's an herb, for example, how do you know how much active ingredient is in there to get consistency in the dosage?
That's a huge problem in the supplement industry, and many times companies will put it on the label and they don't actually meet their label claims. So we have third-party testing that is done to ensure that we have the phytochemical profiles that meet our label claims. And to include our own internal researchers test a minimum of 6 times per batch to ensure the highest purity and quality.
Now we talked about the supplements, we really need to say the classification. So what different supplements? I know looking at your website, there's a whole array of supplements. So you briefly go through the categories first, please.
Sure. So we have supplements for just about every type of patient, in any age and any challenge that they're dealing with. Whether it be they have a cardiovascular health that they're wanting to achieve, cognitive health, if somebody's just wanting to increase their peak performance. We have products for supporting bone health, supporting essentially every tissue in the body. That's why we have 300 SKUs overall between our whole food supplements and our really high quality herbs. So we give the practitioners the advanced guidance and clinical insights of how to apply those to really achieve any outcome that the patient's looking to.
But besides plant source supplements, you also have animal source supplements, like fish oil, for example.
Yeah. So we have third-party testing to ensure the highest quality raw materials that we're using. We also test all of our products a minimum of 6 times per batch. And the animal supplements really, which is it's less than 50% of our products, but they are unique because they're not just a piece of steak, for instance. We have very specific extracts from tissues, like a mineral protein extract, for instance, the nucleus of the cell, that we can target an organ or a gland to help feeding that organ and gland and helping potentially diminish the inflammation that's going on. So, where people back in not too long ago, 50 years ago or so, used to have liver every week. Like feeds like, there's a lot of nutrients that are in that liver that people aren't going to eat today. But it is a part of a natural, healthy diet because liver is essential to our health and overall being. So we have products that help support the liver. We have products that help support the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, digestive system, and so on.
And one thing I want to mention is that people many times shop price, but price is only half of it. Everybody likes a good deal, but the problem is you do get what you pay for. I know you're not the cheapest on the market, also not the most expensive, but the quality that you provide, I think, is second to none. So I think that is, in my opinion, something that many consumers are looking more towards. So in your opinion, have you seen, because you've been in this industry for a while, people looking more towards quality than price?
Absolutely, but there's still a lot of misinformation out there. So we're price conscious when we develop new products, but the end result, we are not going to sacrifice on the quality to ensure we get the result that we're looking to achieve.
Now I know standard process supplements are provided through practitioners.
Correct.
And many of your viewers probably never heard of your company because you don't go down to a local store and buy standard process off the shelf.
Yep, that's another thing that's unique about us is we don't distribute through retail stores because today's health challenges are really, they're complex. So we don't want to put our products on a shelf and not be able to give the patients the best result possible. So there's, like I said, products for just every single person at every single stage, every single health challenge that they have. But in order to put those things together, in order to be able to actually have an impact and really achieve the outcome that they're looking to, we work with healthcare professionals to ensure that they have the right training to apply the products to get them the best results possible. Where if it's just on the shelf, they may feel better and they're going to get a noticeable change and difference, but we want to ensure that we give patients the best chance.
Okay, so we have to ask you this question because people out there are saying, well, how do I find standard process products? I can't go to the store. Yeah. How would the viewers go about finding a doctor that they can work with to get your supplements?
Yep, so standardprocess.com, and you can scroll down to the bottom on the homepage and look for healthcare professional search under quick links and type in your zip code and you'll find a local practitioner near you.
Can't get much easier than that.
Absolutely, that's great.
Now the future, we never know what the future will bring, but what does Standard Process have planned? I can't say for the next 90 years, but in the immediate future, what goals do you have as a corporation?
You can say for the next 90 years.
Okay,
that's okay, at least the next 90 years. But expansion is really the key word there. With investment into research and partnerships that give us the knowledge base to be able to create products that are going to get the results needing in this ever-changing, modern health, care industry.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Mike. Appreciate having me.
Oh, it was great having you, Seth. Now, right after the break, we're going to meet Dr. Sharon Paterno, who you work with also.
Correct.
And she is a certified chiropractic sports physician who uses Standard Process products in her practice in Paramus, New Jersey. We'll see you after the break. Hi, and welcome back. We had two great segments with Seth Kalin from Standard Process, and now we have a doctor that uses Standard Process products in her practice. Dr. Sharon Paterno is a doctor of chiropractic and a certified chiropractic sports physician from Paramus, New Jersey. Dr. Sharon, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
It's good to have you here.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, how did you choose Standard Process out of all of the companies out there to use primarily in your practice?
I consulted with many of my colleagues. Standard Process name came up several times. I also did my research. I learned that Standard Process was a family-owned and operated business. They've been around for about 90 years. It's an organic farm, and they were highly recommended, and a lot of my colleagues were using them. Their product is high quality. They ship out very fast when you order a product. Sometimes I get the product the next day. The company is very reputable. They also have consultants that I can call, and they help suggest products that may be helpful to treat some of my patients or help them with their ailments, help them recover faster, and maybe decrease their symptoms.
Now, you actually did a very unique program in May. You went out to Wisconsin and actually visited both the farm and the plant, which is a great program. Can you tell us about your trip there and what impressed you?
The trip was quite exciting. It was composed of several lectures and also a tour of the farm and the plant where they manufacture the supplements. The lectures were quite intense. I felt like I was back in school at times because we were intently listening and jotting down notes. It was very interesting. We learned a lot from different professionals from all over. It was well attended by doctors and other healthcare practitioners from all over the country and some from other countries as well. We learned how to treat, not how to treat, but how to help patients get better and be healthier faster through supplementation. We toured the farm, the organic farm, which was quite interesting. They have state-of-the-art farming equipment, GPS-controlled weed picker so that they don't have to use pesticides. They gave us a tour of the plant where they composed the tablets and the vitamins and packaged them up. We had to get suited up with hairnets and lab coats and goggles to be able to go through the plant. I was very impressed with the workers there. They take pride in the product. They seem to all be happy to work there. The plant was quite impressive. We saw the supplements be taken from literally the seeds being put into the soil to the finished product being packaged and shipped out to the physicians that were ordering them.
Well, I'm jealous. I wish I went on a trip like that, but maybe next year.
Yes, you can go. I believe they have several trips per year for the physicians.
Now, you've used the products in your practice. Is there any particular case that really stands out in your mind as far as, like you said, oh, wow, this is unbelievable?
One case comes to mind that was, I think, my most incredible case. It was a patient of mine who had been a patient for several years. He had a condition that he never told me about, and I believe he didn't tell me about it because, number one, he was probably embarrassed, and number two, he probably thought that there wasn't anything that I could help him with, so why mention it to her? And I was made aware of this problem one time when he called to cancel his appointment.
Well, what was the problem? Don't hold us in suspense.
He had an enlarged prostate and he had difficulty urinating.
Oh.
And at this particular case, he was in so much pain at this time that he ended up in the emergency room. He was on medication for 10 years. It was taking the edge off of his problem, but it wasn't helping him enough. He was not drinking a lot of water because he had the urgency to have to go pretty much every hour. And when he went to the bathroom, he wasn't even able to go. Wow. And at this particular time, he was in so much pain that he ended up in the emergency room. They put a catheter in him, and he had to wear that for several days. When the catheter was removed, he called, he made an appointment, he came in, we discussed his problem, and I suggested just try 2 products and we'll see what happens. You have all to gain, nothing to lose. He was very open to the suggestion. I suggested 2 products, and he got the products on Wednesday. By Friday, he was absolutely thrilled. He said, "It's a miracle. My life has changed." He was able to drink and urinate normally. And he said for years, literally 10 years, this man has been limiting his intake of water, totally dehydrated, totally miserable because he didn't want to do things because he was always wondering where there was a bathroom. A bathroom had to be close by. And he goes, "I have my life back."
That's incredible.
It is incredible. And since then, he participates in triathlons. He's a man in his 60s. And he says, "I'm hydrated. I drink water constantly. I can go 3-4 hours." Prior to this, he wasn't even able to sleep. He was getting up every hour. He had no quality to his life. He was totally miserable. And now he's a changed man.
I think the lesson to be learned here is that when the body has the right set of circumstances, it can heal. And if you don't try something, you'll never know. Well, Dr. Paterno, thank you very much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. It was a pleasure being here.
And there is only one truth. Each and every episode, we'll do our best to continue to bring that truth to you, with the hope that you and your loved ones can live healthier, safer, and more fulfilling lives. I'm Dr. Mike. Thanks for watching our show. Until next time,